Hey everyone, welcome back. This is your next stimulus payment update for today, Wednesday, June 10th. On this episode, I'm going to go ahead and update the chart for you guys. It's been about a week since I've done so, and there's a number of new changes you're going to want to see. But before I do that, I'm going to give you the condensed version of the important stimulus news stories you need to know about from the last few days. Rather than giving you a stimulus update every single day, which I think is a little too much right now, I'm just going to give them every other day and then condense all of the news stories into that one episode. If you like this style, consider subscribing to the channel. I will continue to do it this way until we finally receive our next stimulus payment. So let's go ahead and get into it. These are the important stimulus news updates from the last few days. We have 4 of them. We're going to start off at number 4 and work our way up to number 1. The major stimulus news story number 4, the United States is officially in a recession. The United States economy officially entered a recession in February of 2020. The reason this is really big news is because it ended the longest economic expansion in the United States on record. And this is going all the way back to 1854. You can see here in this chart, which was compiled by the New York Times, I think it really does a good job at showing you the different time periods between economic expanse and economic recession. And you can see there towards the end of the chart, 2009, 2010 area, that's where we ended our last economic recession and entered into the longest economic expanse in history, which finally just ended. But the big deal with all of this is how are our leaders going to view it when it comes to the next stimulus payment? And unfortunately, I don't think they're going to put a lot of weight into this report. I think they're going to look at the economic recession right now as artificially created by the government, and therefore they're not going to put too much behind this. I think Robert Gordon, who's a Northwestern University economist and a member of the dating committee, he says it very well. He says that he's going to bet that a recovery started in April or May, meaning that the recession would most likely last for only a couple of months. So basically, as quickly as the recession started, it probably ended just a few months later. And I think our leaders are going to look at it that way. They're not going to put too much into it. Still, though, it is an important stimulus news update that you need to know about. The number 3 major news story for the next stimulus payment. Put it in your calendar. If you have one on your desk right now or on your wall, I'm telling you, you're going to want to do this. Circle the date and put the time down. It is 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday, July 3rd. The new Bureau of Labor Statistic job numbers are going to come out. You know how big of a deal when the last ones came out in early June. It upset nearly every economist's predictions on what they thought was going to happen. They were calling for 8 to 10 million job losses, and it came back at 2.5 million job gains. Now, of course, it's not a perfect report. There's a number of problems with it. They always get revised afterwards. But regardless, even with the revisions, it was far more positive than they ever thought it could be. The Bureau of Labor Statistics releases the Employment Situation Summary, otherwise known as the Employment or Jobs Report, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on first Friday of every month. The report is based on the current population survey of households and the current employment statistics surveys of employers. So why is this a big deal? I can guarantee you every major leader on the Hill in both the House and the Senate are going to be sitting in their office on Friday, July 3rd, and they are going to be waiting near their computer for the update to come through. And whatever that jobs number says, it is going to impact the decisions they're going to make on what they're going to put in the next stimulus bill. So if you want to be updated as quick as they are, you're going to want to watch that. However, if you're not going to sit near your computer and wait, you could always subscribe to the channel. I will be letting you know on that day exactly what the job numbers are and what they mean. So consider subscribing to the channel. All right, moving on to major stimulus news story number 2. The White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett said that a phase 4 stimulus package is quote unquote very likely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some Kevin Hassett quotes from the last few days. And why does Kevin Hassett matter? Because he is, in fact, the senior economic advisor to Trump. That's a big deal. He was also the former chairman of the economic advisors in the Trump administration. So these are 3 quotes from him in the last few days. He said this: the odds of there being a phase 4 deal are really close to 100%. He also said phase 4 stimulus package are very high. And he also said this, and I think this is the most important one, and this is why I told you to circle that date in the last important news stimulus update. We had a really good month of job numbers. If we get another month like that in June, then I think it would absolutely affect the things that we pursue in July in the phase 4 deal. So what's the big news with this? The fact of the matter is they are going to do a phase 4 stimulus package. The only question is, what are they going to include in it when it comes to the stimulus payments and the targeted stimulus that they are going to do? If Kevin Hassett says it's going to happen and he is the senior economic advisor to Trump, it is going to happen. But we need to look at what's going on in the economy. They are going to be doing that, and they're going to be looking at certain indicators to determine what they're going to put in it and what they're not. And so that brings us to the number one major stimulus news story you need to know about, and that is that the stimulus timeline is becoming very, very clear. If you are a watcher of this channel, you know that I've already updated you and pinpointed the important dates for the next stimulus vote, and that is now being confirmed by major news stories. This is as reported by The Hill. This is a news story they released this morning. Republicans prepare to punt on the next COVID-19 relief bill, and this is what they reported, just some tidbits within their story. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell indicated to GOP colleagues during a closed-door policy lunch on Tuesday that he does not anticipate the chamber will take up another coronavirus relief package before leaving for a 2-week July 4th recess. So basically, July 4th, they are away for 2 weeks until July 20th, according to the senators in the meeting. Instead, McConnell told Republicans that he viewed the next work period, which runs from July 20th to August 7th, as the time to take up and pass a bill, setting up a crucial 3-week window. Again, if you're a watcher of the channel, I've already indicated this for you, but it's just confirming that information. That seemed like a pretty wise strategy, said Senator John Thune, the number 2 Republican senator, and we will have a better sense for what we need to do probably a few weeks down the road. They are going to look at that jobs number on July 3rd. Trust me, 8:30 on Friday is going to be a big deal. Asked when he thinks the Senate will take up another bill, Senator Roy Blunt, a member of the GOP leadership, told reporters the end of July. So that is important. It's an important update so that you know when this is finally going to be voted on and talked about, the end of July. And so this is going to help me update this chart for you guys right now. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and start with the timeline because we just talked about that, and you can see right throughout the entire timeline, July 20th to July 30th. Now, he said August 7th, but I'm putting July 30th, and this is the reason why. The boost to the unemployment, that $600 weekly boost to the unemployment, ends on July 31st. That is the last day. So in my opinion, they need to do something before that program ends. You cannot let that program end and then make some decision in early August. So that's why I'm putting July 30th. The only thing that they could do technically is they could just piecemeal that program out and just pass that on its own and continue with the bigger bulk stimulus bill as a separate package. They may in fact do that, but if they do that, I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, it's just being sort of grimy and just saying, oh, we're just going to take care of this. And then, they're going to push everything back. But I think they're going to put it all together in one deal. And that's why you see every date there, July 20th to July 30th. I do think the Senate is going to have to do this, and they're going to have to vote on it by the 24th. And then the House is going to have to take it up on the 27th to the 30th to get the vote in by the time that they need to, so that they can extend the unemployment benefits that are really, really necessary. Now let's look at the leading stimulus proposals for Americans. The number 5 contender is the recurring stimulus payment. What are the chances you're going to see a $1,000 to $2,000 month-to-month payment? I am now lowering that to 0.2% chance. So all of those YouTube channels out that keep telling you these 2,000 stimulus payments, and they're clickbaiting you all over the place. It is almost certainly not going to happen. They are listing other programs that have already been approved by the Congress just to get you to click on their channel and watch their video, thinking there's actually going to be a $2,000 stimulus. It's not going to happen. Or well, at least a 0.2% chance. The number 4 contender is no stimulus. I am lowering that dramatically to 5%. I think there is going to be more stimulus. We saw saw the quotes from Kevin Hassett, who is the senior advisor to Trump as far as economics are concerned. So only a 5% chance that there will be no new stimulus. The number 3 contender, the back to work stimulus, I'm going to lower that to 10% chance. I don't really think that one's going to happen. It's too complicated. It doesn't solve a lot of the problems. It doesn't work well. It leaves too many people out. I don't think it's going to work. It's the number 3 contender. The number 2 contender, the one-time direct payment, I'm going to leave that right here at 50%. I think there's a 50-50 shot. It's going to be determined on July 3rd with those new jobs numbers that come out. That's when we're going to know where this stands. If they look bad, then that's a likely contender. If they look really good, I think that one's going away. But the number 1 contender still stands at quote unquote targeted stimulus. And basically they're going to go throughout and they're going to try to target stimulus to specific individuals who do specific things. So if you're in a certain sector of an employment like the hero or the hazard pay, they're going to give you money. If you're unemployed, they're going to give the people who are unemployed money. If you go on vacation or if you go to restaurants, they're going to give you money and tax credits, and they're going to probably maybe do the payroll tax cut. So if you go back to jobs, they're going to give you a payroll tax cut as far as that is concerned. So they're going to target out these stimulus payments to specific individuals in specific situations, or Americans who do certain things like going on vacation or going to a restaurant. We just don't know what the targeted stimulus exactly is going to be. They've given us some hints, and the hints I have just given you right now, but I will keep you updated on what those targeted stimulus are as the information comes in. If you enjoyed this episode, again, consider subscribing to the channel. I really enjoy bringing you this information in an easy to understand sort of condensed format, so you don't have to be like out there trying to figure it all out. As always, I will catch you guys next time.